Do you think Sioux Falls is really for you? Don't move here unless you can handle these 10 things. Hi, I'm Amy Stockberger, one of the broker owners at Amy Stockberger Real Estate. If you want to know everything there is to know about living, breathing, sleeping, playing, working in the greater Sioux Falls area, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell, and we will notify you every time we put out more content to help educate you on our beautiful slice of heaven. If you're curious on what it's like to live in Sioux Falls and you want to talk, you can certainly email, call, or text us at the information below. We're happy to schedule a discovery call to get on the phone or send you a relocation packet on everything that we can do to not only relocate you in, but integrate you and your family into our slice of heaven using our lifetime home support model, where we have a system and strategy for every step of the process before, during, and forever. Number 1. The winter wonderland, AKA the cold. Let's talk weather. Winter here is, well, winter. It's no joke. January is typically our coldest month of the year, and we can get temperatures below freezing, but what really does make it a tad bit colder is our winds. We can get some pretty good wind through our area. While we haven't had a huge snowstorm in 24 or yet in 2025 when this is being shot. In 2019, we had so much snow that I actually had to call everybody I helped relocate into the area and promise them that I was not lying to them, that in fact, this was very abnormal. That hadn't happened since I was 9. But if you're not used to the snow, that's one thing you will have to handle if you move into Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Number 2, a different kind of small town vibe. Sioux Falls is a city, but it does have a great small town feel. And that means everybody, for the most part, does know everybody. And if you love a tight-knit community, that's great, but it is big enough where you're not gonna know every single person. I've been here my entire life. I go to the grocery store and do see people I don't know. I do go to the grocery store at time and wear a hat and put my head down just so I can walk through too, because we are a small town, and if I need to get somewhere, you do need to do that. But if you want to be completely anonymous and not know anybody, Sioux Falls is not the town for you. Number 3, limited public transportation. While we do have public transportation, the SAM, which is a bus that runs around our city, of course, it's not going to be as accessible as you would find in New York or bigger metropolitans. We do have Ubers, we do have Lyft, but we do not have a train that runs through our city. There is limited public transportation options. While it's not impossible, it is something that is not going to be the same type of options that you would see in a bigger market. Number 4, South Dakota friendly. If you are not used to people smiling and waving at you as you drive by them, even if they're complete strangers, that might kind of shock you. I have had people from out in east, the northeast side of our country, who have come here and have said to me several times, like, did you know them as we're driving by people? I'm like, I did not. People are just nice here. The joke is that typically when you pull into a public store, that the South Dakota friendly people will hold the door open as you actually drive into the parking lot, wait for you to park, keep the door open for you to come in. It is just what happens here. So if you're not used to people being very nice, asking how you are, waving hi, that might be something you're gonna have to adjust to. Number 5, not as many nightclubs or night owl options as you would find in a bigger market. All night owls and party animals, Sioux Falls does have great bars and restaurants, but if you're expecting the nightlife of Chicago and New York, you are in for a little bit of a surprise. Things do wind down here. The bars close actually at 2 a.m., but it's bar time, so it's usually about 1:40 a.m. And there really isn't a ton more to do after that for the most part. But what good happens after 2 a.m. anyway, guys? Number 6, We call it the orange cone season, which is construction season. Sioux Falls is growing in every direction, and what comes with that is a lot of construction. So whenever the weather is nice, expect to be in the orange cone season. Number 7, housing costs. A lot of people think because of our size that you're gonna get into a absolutely crazy low price points. And while they are lower than the majority of our nation, they are not at rock bottom. Our average price point in our market is still right around $320,000 to $350,000. There are options below and obviously options above. But if you're expecting to get in way lower, that isn't gonna be an option. But again, compared to the rest of our country, we have very affordable housing. Same with rentals. While people do get into our market and expect our rental market to be so much lower, it just isn't. And it's still lower than it is nationwide, but you're not gonna get into something for dirt cheap. It's still gonna be at market value. So housing costs, while affordable, they're not gonna be low, like you would see in other markets that are probably comparable to our size. Number 8, 8's my favorite number, but number 8 is actually mosquitoes, and it really kind of varies on the season. So if we have a wet spring, you will see more mosquitoes in our area, which means you're just gonna have to spray your yards, and there are some really nice natural ways to do that to keep the mosquitoes down. And if you're in an area that has water behind it, whether it's a greenway or a pond that's owned by our city or the county, those are usually taken care of by them and usually have less bugs in those areas. But if it is wet in the spring, you will see some mosquitoes. However, I do have really great options for you to create outdoor living spaces that are completely screened in, so I will have your back on that. Number 9, tornado warnings. I've lived in the Sioux Empire area, the greater Sioux Falls area, my entire life. 2025 will be me entering my 48th level of life. And in those 48 years, I think I can remember multiple tornado warnings that brought us down to our basements because the sirens were going off, yes. But in those 48 years, I really can only remember anywhere between 4 and 5 actual tornadoes hitting where we saw some destruction. Now, we do have basements in our market, so that is one way that people can stay protected, is being in their basement. We also have options for slab on grade that some of the builders build in a tornado shelter inside. They do say, you can Google this, but they do say since we are surrounded by the Sioux River around our city, that sometimes is a way that they don't hit as often within our little nugget. But tornadoes are something that do happen in our area, not nearly like you see them in the tornado alley portions, but you will likely hear a siren or an advisory or warning of some kind. Number 10. We do not have any mountains surrounding Sioux Falls. And I've said this for years. You probably heard me say it on another video if you watch this channel, that if we had mountains surrounding us, we would be the absolute perfect, most idyllic place to live in our country. So what that means, not having the mountains right here, is that we do have some wind that does come through. It's not killer wind, but we do have some wind that comes through. But if you do want mountains, we are only 5 hours away from West River, is what we call it here locally, which is over in the Black Hills. And the mountains over there, they're 10,000 above sea level. They're absolutely beautiful. It looks like a completely different state, and truly a easy drive on I-90 to buzz over to the Black Hills and take in the beauty of that and the Badlands. So really great options right there. And honestly, you could drive down to Colorado from here in about the same time. It's a pretty easy drive. We do have a skiing hill though in Sioux Falls, Great Bear. It has about 3 or 4 different little runs and a tubing hill. So we do have that, and you can hike that during the spring, summer, and fall. So there you have it. Those are the 10 things you must be able to handle before you pack your bags and head to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. As always, if you're curious on more on what it's like to live, breathe, eat, sleep, and play in the greater Sioux Falls area, call, text, email, whatever is easiest. We'd love to talk to you about our all-inclusive relocation and integration process. and how our clients can save over $20,000 in the first year with our lifetime home support model, and the support and savings continue for life. Until next time, see ya.